All right, guys. Since this new Guilty Gear Strive interview came out, ASMR style, I'm going to tell you my opinion on everything. Whatever, fuck it anyway. Show my channel a little bit to keep it active. So, what do I think about the Guilty Gear Strive interview where they're basically doubling down on everything they already said? My opinion is, why are you surprised? Why wouldn't they double down? I said this before, right when they made this thing, dude. Generally speaking, games do not drastically change from beta to final release. Sure, some things change here and there. And, I could go, if you wanted me to, I could go pick it out. This changed a little bit, this changed a little bit, blah, blah, blah. But generally speaking, the general idea of the game does not change. And why would it change? Why would you make a game where you're like, I don't think people are going to like this game, but let me spend all this money and have people beta test it, but I don't think they're going to like it. Why the fuck would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm not saying I like how the game is, you know what I mean? But, for better or worse, generally speaking, if you're going to put out a product, why would you put out a product that you think is shit? This is the idea that they're going with. If it was going to drastically change, that would be an exception to the normal rule, But I don't think people should have expected it to drastically change. I wasn't. You know what I mean? Even with the delay. Generally, games are, it's set in stone, the general idea for it. And that sucks because the game looks like it has problems, but it is what it is. Could it change a little bit here and there? Yeah, I would hope so. And like I said, they really need to fix the wall mechanic. They need to tweak that for sure. But, besides some here and there things, right? And I guess that could potentially be a quotation marks drastic change. But generally speaking, no, you should have never expected any drastic changes. Why would you? So no, I'm not surprised. They beta test games too far in advance anyway in the first place, right? I can't believe, so let's not even get into that. It's ridiculous how far they beta test things. But again, and another thing to look at this too, remember this, dude. How long have I been in fighting games? Won my first tournament over 20 years ago as a kid. How was I able to call all these games? Dragon Ball FighterZ was not the first game. How was I able to call all these games and instantly when I play them, I do all this stuff without ever touching it? Because generally games do not change drastically from a beta to the final release. And it's sad because of course we want Guilty Gear to be more quotation marks Guilty Gear maybe, right? And that's not even that I think that Strive is necessarily going to be a terrible game. I don't even necessarily think that, but you know what I mean? Generally, these games, they don't change. That's how I'm able to predict how the games are going to work without ever playing them. You know what I mean? Because you can just look at it and be like, yep, this is the general idea of the game. I can look at it, analyze, this should work, blah, 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 blah. Because generally games do not change drastically, right? So again, is the interview disappointing? Yeah, sure it is. But is it surprising? No, not really. Anyway, keeping my channel active, the end.